Hi, so today we are going to ask questions from someone who has cleared UPSC CSE thrice. Let's know from him how it feels. Hello, sir.
Hi Ansh.
Would you please clear one classical debate, Laxmikanth or Didi Basu?
That is indeed a classical debate. I'll just analyze the pros and cons and just leave it to the students because deciding which book to study is largely dependent upon the aptitude of the students. While Laxmikanth is more fact-based, prelim-centric, but on the contrary easy to understand. But whereas Didi Basu is more recent-based, some of the classical debates surrounding especially fundamental rights and certain case studies are well discussed. The only disadvantage I would say is the language is little complex. But however, students who are comfortable with the language, Didi Basu would be a better book. But having said both the things, either Laxmikanth or Didi Basu, they have to supplement their knowledge with the current affairs when it comes to the mains examination to be successful. So it depends largely on the aptitude of the students.
Sir, next question. How do you know if someone is an IAS material?
That's a very subjective thing based on the assessment of the teacher. So what basically we look at is the first and foremost thing is attitude of the student, along with a certain level of intelligence. A very high level of intelligence is not required. A certain level of intelligence, of course, is very important. In addition to that, of course, we look into their answer writing skills and all those things. So these three parameters basically help us to identify the students and to group them to succeed in this examination. But having said that, I already said it is very subjective in nature. There are certain students who may not display these qualities in the classroom, but still they'll be able to clear it. But if at all we are looking at, we just look at these qualities. I would say among all the three things, the attitude is the most important part.
One piece of advice you always give to your students?
One piece of advice. This is something that I keep telling to the students. The moment they start preparing for the UPSC examination, it is never going to be like a 100-meter sprint. It is going to be like a marathon. So the moment the race starts, they have to keep running till their name is there in the list. So they should also know when to run faster, when to maintain their pace, when to slow down their pace. So these things becomes very important. So they have to keep running. So in other words, they have to maintain the consistency. That is going to be one most important thing once they start preparing.
And so follow-up question, as the prelims is near, prelims 2026, one advice you would give to the attempters of this exam?
One single piece of advice, because it's almost a month now, maybe a little less than a month also. Stick to your basics, which means UPSC focus on certain important themes year after year. So you should be very comfortable and confident in those basic themes. In addition to that, revise the previous year questions. I would say 20 to 25 years of previous questions again and again. A lot of learnings will come from the previous year questions. So stick to your basics, fundamentals, revise the previous year questions, and addition to that, supplement that with the most relevant current affairs, because current affairs is so vast. And of course, you should also have the confidence before you go to the examination. So these four things will sail them through the prelims examination.
And so one advice for the beginner aspirant?
Okay, so one important advice for the beginner aspirant is, I would say, someone who is a beginner, you should really have the conviction to prepare for this examination. Because now the world there's a lot of opportunities. Wherever you turn up for the people with the right attitude and aptitude, so they have a lot of opportunities. But to succeed in this examination, the decision should come out of their own conviction. So that's one primary thing. And also, even if you choose out of your own conviction, anyways, the general studies is common to all the people, all the students. So I would say you'll have to choose your optionals wisely. So the decision based on conviction and choosing your optional wisely are the two important things that I would suggest to the beginners. And if they do it well, and then the success could be little easy for them. That's for the beginners.
Okay, that would be very helpful for them. And sir, one of my favorite questions. Since you have cleared UPSC many times, how does it feel?
Of course, I feel proud and very humble at the same time. So two important outcomes I take out of it. One is that I do understand that even if the target is very difficult, by having a proper planning and maintaining the consistency, you will be able to succeed in that. So that is quite clear that by doing it multiple times, and I applied the same strategy again and again, which worked it. So I feel very comfortable that I can also apply these things in my future endeavor to succeed. That's the first aspect which could personally help me. The second thing is I'm very happy that I can share my experience with the students and can also help a lot of students to how to plan for this examination and how to execute them in a very consistent manner that could also help them to clear this examination. So these are the two important outcomes that I take from my multiple selections.
One quality an aspirant must develop if he or she wants to clear UPSC CSE examination.
As I already said that consistency is going to be very, very important. So in addition to the consistency, second thing is they should keep learning. So they should keep learning as in that what skills are required to clear this examination. So one, you keep learning out of your own experience, but the most important thing is you also learn from the experience of others. Somebody who has cleared the examination, someone who has failed the examination. So it's always better to learn from others' experience apart from our own experience. So consistency, continuous learning, and also just don't give up yourself for minor setbacks, which is likely to happen. So if they are able to do all the three things good enough, I'm sure that they'll succeed in the examination.
And last but not the least, why a student should join LevelUp IAS?
LevelUp IAS, I would say that while most of the students might already know, but I would say one of the important quality is one of the important consideration is the quality of teachers. Not just the quality of teachers. In addition to the quality of teachers, the teachers are very approachable. And of course, the mentorship and the overall comprehensive support that LevelUp ecosystem is giving to the students. So I would say these are the three important considerations that where LevelUp can stand little better than the other institutions.